If you're a woman going through perimenopause and forgetting your words, losing your train of thought, or walking into a room and wondering why you're there, I want you to hear this because there is actually a really hopeful story emerging from the research on menopause and the brain. Lisa Mosconi and her colleagues have used brain imaging to look at what happens before, during, and after menopause. And yes, they found changes during the menopausal transition. They saw changes in grey matter, brain connectivity, and the way the brain uses energy. Some of these changes occurred in areas involved in memory and higher level thinking. And this is where some of the scary headlines come from about menopausal brain looking like the early stages of Alzheimer's disease. But that's not the whole story. When the researchers looked at women after menopause, many of those brain changes had stabilized. And in some important brain regions, grey matter volume actually showed evidence of recovery. That recovery was also associated with preserved cognitive performance. So what we're potentially looking at is not simply a brain in decline. We're looking at a brain going through a transition and adapting to a very different hormonal environment. And we have even more evidence of that adaptation now. More recent research has shown that estrogen receptor density in the brain actually increases across the menopausal transition, which may be one of the ways the brain responds as circulating estrogen declines. I don't want to overstate this. Menopause is still an important period for brain health. There may be a period of increased vulnerability, and we know that cardiovascular and metabolic risk factors can change around this time too. But vulnerability is not the same thing as inevitability. And I think this makes midlife an incredibly important time to look after ourselves. Exercise improves cardiorespiratory fitness, blood pressure, glucose regulation, strength, and metabolic health. It can also help with sleep, mood, and some menopausal symptoms. We don't have a trial showing that exercising through menopause prevents dementia. But we do know that many of the things exercise improves are themselves important for dementia risk. So rather than looking at menopause as the point where your brain starts an inevitable decline, I want you to think about it as a transition. Your brain is adapting. And while it's doing that, we have an opportunity to give it the healthiest environment we can. Keep moving, build your fitness, lift weights, sleep when you can. Know your blood pressure and cholesterol. And if your menopausal symptoms are affecting your quality of life, talk to your doctor about treatment. There is so much more going on in the menopausal brain than decline. Your brain is changing, but it is also adapting.